Hey everybody, this is Peter Robbins with on behalf of the Armchair Dragoons. I'm here with the lead designer. I guess that's the right description, right, Mike?
Yeah, that's great.
Lead designer for the new, um, wonderful. I'll use that word. I've used the word masterpiece. That is American Revolutionary War by WDS, War Game Design Studio. So I think officially it's been out for about a month, right?
No,
All
no,
right.
it's less than that. I think it came out April 17, so it's a
There you
couple weeks,
go.
3 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. So coming on a few weeks here, and I've had a good amount of time with it now,
That's great.
um, and I love it. Um, let's see, what have I been through? I think I did a quick brandy wine, and then I did a Saratoga in which I failed miserably.
Oops.
I gave the crown a minor win on that one at least.
What happened there?
Um, well, I didn't. Well, we'll talk about that one. I'll talk about that one actually at some point because I think I just misunderstood the. I think I underestimated the objectives. Taking we had I doubled my kills, right, but I didn't take care of objectives, right.
Whoops.
um which I mean, quite honestly, I didn't reread up on the battle before I do. I try not to actually. And then I let myself fail. So yeah, there. See, that's my excuse, right?
Good. Well, it's good to know that the AI wins sometimes.
Yeah, if you let it take all the objectives and till at least 2/3 into Saratoga, and then try to take anything back, yeah, sure, that's exactly how you let them win. Um, so let me start sharing. And what I thought, what I thought we'd do first is just talk a little bit about, you know, why this title, how where it fits in the Musket and Pike series itself. For me, I would describe it. I don't know if y'all would describe it, but I would describe it as the culmination of the Musket and Pike series, really, ultimately.
We'll,
Um,
we'll see on that. I'm sure they've got things up their sleeve.
Oh, okay. All right, good. Okay, see, that's why I said I would edit anything out later. So if you don't let anything slip, you should. But that's good to hear. Um, but I personally, I didn't have 7 Years War. I got that one. I've done I did 30 Years War all the way through now. Great Northern War. Oh, what else is in this? I'm trying to remember everything. I've played so much of it.
War of Ocean Succession.
Yes, yes, yes. So I have guesses on what the other ones will be, but I'm not gonna guess because I don't want to.
Well, it's been. I mean, it's been out for a while, and I think the engine has evolved a lot since that first go around, and so yeah, the engines are updated as they go. So like if you bought the first version of the game, you're playing it now with the same engine, but I don't think the scenario designers at the time probably didn't have, you know, they didn't have the not necessarily the tools, but you don't set it up. For example, we brought an open order for American Revolutionary War.
Hmm.
Maybe you could have used that in one of the earlier games. So I think it may be time to go back and revisit some of that stuff. But
Interesting,
again, I'm not
interesting.
really sure what the master plans are.
I will say an open thank you to WDS for remapping the Crusades Book Two, the season Sword and Siege engine, which I'm assuming is very. I think it was originally forked, right? From
It is.
yeah.
It's a cousin.
Okay, so it took on. Okay, it's and this is programmer speak because I am a programmer and I'm an engineering manager by trade. So I was wondering how you manage these engines. You pretty much I was you don't have to give me too many trade secret. I don't think this is a huge trade secret, but do you have like a core engine and then you update certain things about the core engine and then you have an
That's
individual
that's all,
engine?
that's all above my pay grade. So
Okay, all right, all
I
right,
just
cool.
design the scenarios. They've got, there are, they always refer to, there's I think there's 3 or 4 basic ones.
Engines, engines though.
I
Okay.
think the Napoleonics is it's separate thing. Must the different game series are their own beast. And I mean, maybe you can talk
Yeah, I'm
to
assuming that.
Rich.
I think there are differences because I know, for example, I'll even show it here, like the jump. I know, like in certain titles, I can't remember which one it is. It might be Panzer Campaigns, but because that has such a large map on some of the like Gold Fold the Gap, etc. For that one, when you click on the jump map, it doesn't shut the jump map, which I actually I beg that all the. By the way, if I can get in one suggestion, I love it when you can click here and it stays up,
And it
or at least
stays there.
have an
Yeah, no, I
yeah,
definitely see the value in that on some of those things.
maybe an option for that, just an option for that. But love it.
Well,
So
we know the WDS guys listen to these things. So
yeah. So that's like one of my only things. Which I tell you what, after this many years, if that's my only thing, then why, if it ain't broke, why fix it? But with that in mind, I will say, like one of the two of the things is that you can kind of see here. This is the Battle of Harlem from 1776. This is the company level.
from the American Revolutionary War, not
Correct.
1776.
Yes. And two things to show off. First of all, in this engine, right? So obviously it's very pretty at this point. Some of the company level maps are very, very large, or at least seemingly large, right? These are 40-meter.
Those are 40 meters.
Yeah, and then these are individual companies, and we'll show you just to stare and contrast this. So here is Harlem Heights at company level. I have both. I have it revealed, so spoiler alert. But let's go look at that just real quick. I personally feel like Harlem plays better at company level, right? I assume you would agree.
Yeah, the battalion level is pretty small, which is why I did it at company level. And,
yeah. See that? But it's what I like about that is even if I don't play the other one, I can at least kind of, I don't know, it gives you a perspective, quite honestly, just to kind of see it in both. Like, I think another pretty jarring example is Trenton. We'll take maybe a quick look at that later.
Well, one thing, if you have you ever looked into the submap editor? Because
yes, I have.
I made some pretty huge maps, including New York and Manhattan and Long Island too. So those are all. I mean, what I think are and actually the Charleston maps are
yeah,
we're crazy.
Yeah,
huge
I think there's a lot there, right? I know probably one of the criticisms of the game is, hey, why don't you just give an editor? But hey, whatever. You have to have some secret sauce, right?
Well, we want to get the map right because then everybody would do everything, right? And so,
well,
part of what
right, but it also so what I was going to try to say before is that like every release has something absolutely new, right? So for these, let me go back to the company level just for a second. Just to kind of show you a few other things that are here. I'm not going to my article. If you're watching this, my article has a full listing of everything that's here. Moores Creek, by the way, is not right down the road, a couple hours down the road. I've been to Moores Creek battlefield.
Right
I've been to Kings Mountain, so I will tell you that it looks very accurate. By the way, I think you have there. At least when I went there to Moores Creek, it felt like there were more trees. But in reality, I went back and looked at the map, and there wasn't. I think it was just a perspective thing at the time, or something.
Yeah, well, that was so it's kind of a hard thing to juggle with this because I've been to a lot of those battlefields in the South.
Yeah, it's difficult,
and it's
right.
It's like, well, you want it to be open, but we don't have that terrain. We don't have an open forest terrain hex, right? So that you don't allow you to see into. So you have to have some kind of like almost like a scattered polka dot type thing.
Right. And I think though
have some visibility.
So, okay, well, here's a question kind of related to that, though. I'm assuming in most cases you at least did a comparison of, historical maps of the time versus current. And,
oh yeah, you can't even imagine.
Yeah. Well, let's go into that a little bit. Like, let's just talk maybe even about Harlem Heights. Like, did you?
Well, Harlem Heights looks nothing like it does today.
Right. Exactly. You're right. That's what I meant. Right.
But so there's a reference in there, for further reading. There's it's Henry Johnson. I think he wrote a book, I think 75 years after the battle. And he's got incredible maps. And you can find his book. I mean, it's online and in one of like Google Books, etc. But you can find relatively inexpensive reprints. And I got one, and it was great. It was printed. It was printed in the 1970s, and it's got his period, his maps that he did, and he really went into it, and it was before it all got paved over, and so he did some amazing
Right.
maps. So there's a lot of like so you can't see it here, but I've got three screens in the office, and so I would often have so we start with the oldest topographical map we can find,
Okay.
right? And that provides the overlay for the map. And these days we get a little bit of a computer aid importing this information into kind of a basic base map, and then I'll take the overlay, which is obviously New York and New kind of the northern states.
Uh-huh.
You could go back to right around like 1820s, I think, are some of those maps. South Carolina and North Carolina were a little bit more problematic to track down, but anyway, so you've got that, and it has a lot of information on it. We bring that in, and then you take the whatever current or not period maps and bring those up. Like Saratoga there's some amazing maps for Saratoga. One of the engineers, I think that was Moncrief. He was
Uh-huh.
there, and I mean it's broken down by what light infantry company was at this spot in the line. So there's a ton of stuff, and so you're trying to pull all that information together as best you can, and how does it look, and then more importantly, how does it play, right? If in Simcoe's account he says we stationed some guys here and they could
Uh-huh.
see somebody 300 yards off, well, I'm going to make it so you can see 300 yards off from that point. And so that sometimes that involves a little bit of going back and forth. Okay, here's the map. Here's the scenario. Oh shoot, that building or whatever blocks the line of sight. So then that building needs to go away. And so you go like you work it that way. Because to me, having a map that is as historically accurate as it can be and reflects actual terrain is
Uh-huh.
way more fun to play on than a generic map. I just think it makes for better gaming, better feel, better taste.
I did have one question about Germantown. I played a good bit through there. Was there a choice made in not making like the Cliveden house basically a fortification, if you will. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, so so for going
I'm
on
think go ahead.
going, I'm gonna open it up real quick on the screen here. Uh,
That was my only surprise.
so
Sincerely.
so it's not fortified, but it is a chateau, and chateau has its
Uh,
own
okay, okay,
unique
okay.
properties, right?
All right.
So if you look at it, the they actually modeled that. So we there's I think it's 12 different tiles,
Mm,
for a building, or 12 different tiles for a chateau.
mm.
And what we used for that particular building is actually Cliveden House. Um,
Ah, okay, okay,
right
okay.
down to the statue out in front.
Yes, I thought I saw that. Yes, I thought there was two like white little flickers in the front, and I was
Yeah.
like,
So
wait.
we
I was like,
so
man, they didn't put that in there, did they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, we did. And then, so Nick, who's in charge of it kind of coordinates all the pre-20th century graphics. He asked me for hey, give me some names of some buildings or chateaus you would want to use. And so,
Right.
that came up. I think even here on Harlem Heights, if you go up to George Washington's headquarters, that's the Morris Mansion, and that may be off map on this one.
Yeah,
Um,
it's probably way up. Hold on.
yeah, it's just a little ways up there. Anyway, but that's actually he used Morris House as a model for that.
Very good.
So yeah, so
So
chateaus. You go into the manual, read that. They've got their own defensive capabilities. Units. I don't think they route out of chateaus.
yeah, okay. All
Um,
right. Yeah. Okay. I knew there was probably a reason. Yeah. I
yeah,
was
so
just
I didn't really want to I didn't want to make it impossible to go after.
yeah. Well, it kind of played an atypical. Well, it became its own fortification, right? It kind of probably more so than it should have, right? I guess. I think it was
Right, but
not.
but if you look at, so I think there's a Cliveden scenario too, but I'm looking at,
Oh, okay.
it's walled. You've got the forest in there. I mean, or not the forest, the orchard. So it's kind of like a grove. It's pretty manicured.
Let's see if I can find it.
So I think if you go to Germantown, CL.
That's probably what I didn't do. I think I was playing the battalion level. Yeah, let's go take a look at that just real quick. I'm gonna reveal. So, oh well, there's Cliven right there. Okay, that's better. Okay, yeah, that looks. So you have it. You do have it as breastworks. Okay, well then my apologies because I played the battalion level. I think maybe that's why it didn't take as much of a role.
Yeah, and I think if you go up battalion level, if your guys fall back, you've got those the pickets up in front. If they fall back there, they can start building in some breastworks. But I don't think it started out as it didn't start out fortified. It became fortified.
It became fortified. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at that all right, here we go. But what that does is at least that was my segue into saying showing the dusk mode, right? Or it's called let's see what the exact name. Can't remember the exact name. Night shading. Okay,
night shading.
Yeah, it sounds like Marvel.
Is that with night on or is that dusk? Or
this dawn? Is dusk. This is 0500, so that's pretty dark. Dark 30.
Oh no, it's still night. It's still night. I can see that down below.
Right. So let's look. Okay, so here's Cliveden. Wait, where are we? Here. So yeah. You do have the darn statue. That's awesome. I didn't know. I thought I saw that out of the corner of my eye. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, that's the main difference. So as you can see here, everybody, that again, this is a battalion level, but in many of the cases during the in the scenarios, you changed the company level to be a portion of the battle too, or
right, which is why I did Cliveden up at company level, right? Because it's
absolutely
an iconic fight, right? And
right, because if you
kept such a small part of the overall battle,
yes, exactly. Like that one, I think that contrast was great, and then I think it's more apparent the change in scale when you look at like Harlem, which was now let's go look at the company level of Harlem, and that's it's broken down pretty significantly. I think the other main thing to show is that when you're in the company level, you don't have in most cases the column of march.
No, I turned column of march off for company level. To me,
it makes sense.
It did make sense as the extra step and when you read a lot of the tactical manuals, it flows pretty quickly. So, and with a higher unit count, it didn't make sense to me to be that fidgety.
And I love the newer. I think the lowdown engine was kind of third party purchase from Burden of Command. Is that correct?
Sorry, what?
The third party this new graphics engine on down low. I think a lot of this was kind of paid for from
they're working with whatever that is, but they do.
And that's Burden of Command. And then what I like about that, or I love about it, is I personally feel like it shows off your elevations more visually, right? And I like the contouring, the contouring of the hill ridge lines and so forth. So it's just a lot easier. It's a lot easier to realize the advantage or disadvantage thereof, right?
I didn't used to really play in 3D for years. I've been playing it for decades. And
yes,
I find myself using it more often now.
Yes, that's a great point. And I was going to say that exact same thing where I have a hard time choosing how to play the game now, which is a good thing. Because before I think I'm right there with you. It wasn't the fact that it wasn't attended to. It just wasn't aesthetically.
It was just it was harder. It was just harder difficult to see.
For me,
but I also use the block counters versus the graphic images,
so
because to me that looks more like those period maps we were talking about.
Yeah, here you go. Yeah, I'll just show that off just so people who prefer that as
Yeah,
well.
I mean, to me, it's that's kind of what I was used to working with on map boards.
Yeah, and what I liked, there were some improvements at the high level. I think even like this level, it's really easy. It took a little bit to get used to this, or at least notice it. Right? You can. I don't know who designed this. Whoever designed the march column symbols. The ones at the bottom. Um, they're like here at the token level, at the counter level. They're like,
Yeah,
it's so easy. I didn't realize it at first. I was like, wait a minute, I could just look for the M there. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I don't know, whoever's decision that was, bravo.
I'm pretty sure that's Nick because he's kind of like coordinator for all
Right, because
the
it's so.
pre 20th century stuff.
And what I do like here, I'll even show one thing is that you can turn that. Let me turn it back to what I have been using. For me, and the only reason I do it is because I like to see where my leaders are.
Yeah,
You can see where the leaders are a little bit readily with the pictures. I don't know why I like the pictures. But what I'll say is that when you do zoom out, then you see it the way you're talking about. I love that choice too. I like that it switches to this because it makes more sense to see the
right.
symbols of this. I can actually still make it out, which is really cool. I don't know whoever had those two decisions, bravo. And I love that the formation. It's just little improvements like that. Just the way the formation is shown on these. Of course, it's obviously a little bit more readily discernible with the blocks. You can definitely tell the formation, the facing. Excuse me, this way, yeah, of course. But for those who prefer the pictures, the addition of, I think this is a little bit more. It just pops a little bit more,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think that's
No, that's pretty
um,
popular, and I think that's the default.
yes, and it's very nice. So I don't see. Oh, here is an open order. Oh, that's what I wanted to show. See how like right here you can see the O. I can still see it. I don't have the greatest eyesight in the world. So whoever did the color matching, the color coding, and the saturation of those little symbols, that O symbol right there, and then if you're in the column of March, I think it's an M.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. I can still see it at every level. I can see what's going on very well.
Well,
So
that's what graphics are supposed to do. They're supposed to help
yeah,
us.
absolutely.
So
So let's maybe point out a few things like, so light plus is an indication that it can go into open order, correct? I hope I'm saying that
yes,
right.
yeah, yeah.
What are some other restrictions? What are some of the restrictions on?
Well, you've got irregulars, right? With it, and so which
Um,
who cannot kick out a skirmisher.
right. Okay. So
So
certain.
restricted. Sorry, restricted, not irregular.
Restricted, yeah. I always forget that myself. So yeah, so these wouldn't be able to do skirmishers. And now, how many? And this is just my naivete. I can't. There's a limit, right? You can only kick out one or two,
So
or
so yeah, yeah. So light trips can fully break down
okay,
and
that's what it was.
normally, uh, if a unit can kick out a skirmisher, that's kind of the phrasing I use. But at company at battalion level,
Battalion level.
it's you get 1/10, right? So it's 10,
Okay.
10. So you get and the unit size is 1/10. Um, and then at company level, I allowed 3. So a light company can break down into 3 subunits, and it's pretty
Okay, that's
rare. But
yeah.
if there is a line company out there, it can kick out a flanker, and that came from my readings. You've got a lot of Ewald's journals. You've got Simcoe. They often mention like, "Hey, we sent 15 guys down
I think I
down
have
here
an
to
example.
hold a post."
I think I have an example of that right here. I'm fighting Bunker Hill as the Continentals, and I think this is a British unit that did that. You see how
Yeah,
it's
it's broken
and
down.
yeah,
So you're playing battalion level, and that's
yeah,
broken down. He's got so where that you can see that officer there.
right,
Yeah, so he's with the main unit, but he's got a
right
few.
here,
He's got some skirmishers thrown out in front.
right.
So
Yeah, I love the design of Bunker Hill. By the way, this is a very good one. This is a very if you want to see the contrast, this is a good one too, right? Because there's not, again, any battle that's about 1,500, 1,800 troops aside, I think you see the difference better, and it usually plays. I think that's about the sweet spot for company level or lower, right? About
Yeah,
1,500.
I didn't want to get, like I said,
Yeah, give
going
people a
back to like
choice.
the 1776 game. They had a brandy wine in there, and it was
Hmm.
obviously 1776 was all company level, and it was massive, right? I mean, I remember playing. I played that once, with someone, and it just took forever. I mean, turns would take 40 minutes a turn, right? By the time you went through and tabbed through everything. But these with battalion level, that's like a 5-10 minute turn to go through and do so.
So I'll make my 1 minute pitch for an Age of Sail replacement. I know you all had. I know there was one back in the day, right? There was an Age of Sail naval sim. So that's my
Yeah, and I
my.
don't. Yeah, well, good point. I don't know. I don't know if they
But
if that intellectual property came over with them.
okay, okay, yeah. That I think that split was mostly at the squad level, right? Like I think what Talonsoft went its way, or
Okay, yeah, and
then
well,
it went
John
over to.
John had that, and John did that, and but I think someone else picked up Age of Sail because there was. I mean, this is not a
Interesting.
WDS project, but there was an Age of Sail 2 out there many years ago, and
Yeah,
I'm not sure John retained that, but I don't really know, and I don't know
yeah.
what
Maybe you're
WDS
right.
has.
You're right. You're right. Okay, yeah, whatever. Well, there goes my pitch. All
Well,
right.
that's all right. I mean, I was happy that we got ships to
Oh
move.
no. Oh yeah, they're great. Yeah,
They
I
don't,
think it
you know,
was
we didn't want to get it. It is a land based game, and so
right. Sure,
it's
sure.
still not a high fidelity naval
No, but
aspect. But
I
at least
think
you feel a little better moving them around.
it was possible. I think it was Great Northern War that kind of we started to see a little bit more introduction of that, like troops landing and so forth. I thought that was
Well, yeah,
really
yeah,
cool.
you had has boats,
Mm.
but the ships in Great Northern War were static, and so
Oh yeah. Okay. Well,
it was
yeah. I
it was a
thought.
big deal. It was a big deal to take it one step further, get them to move a little bit.
Oh,
So
okay. 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 Anything else? Let's see. Have we got? Let's take just a quick look at the change file, just in case there was anything of note. Let's see. Oh yeah. I didn't realize this was new, but I love this, by the way. The Shift
yeah,
F.
it's pretty handy.
Let me see if I can get. I don't think I'll be able to get it. Maybe here I can get it. Let's see if I can get that.
Yeah,
Yeah, there we go. So anybody who can fire, by the way, low ammo. Oh yeah, I got a bone to pick on Saratoga too. Sorry. Yeah, this is my whole excuse to bring you on.
you need to change the facing on that unit. He's
Um,
shooting out of the ocean. He's shooting out of the ocean. He's not covering he's
yeah,
not
let's
covering the
see what we
troops.
got. Let's try that. There we go.
There you go.
As a matter of fact, why don't we just go ahead and fire? Let's see. Again, I'm hitting control and right clicking, and then you're picking. So yep, we didn't realize my sound was so high. Hopefully that came through. So yes, sound. Oh yes. So that was a great segue into sound. Again, that was Shift F, so that's a newer. I didn't realize that was a new control, but it was the first time I'd used it. I didn't know it was new. Added the push skirmisher rules. Interesting. Okay. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, the
Cover
push
everything.
skirmishers is if they're severely outnumbered, they'll just fall back when you melee them. There's no
Oh.
losses for either side.
Oh yes. And I started to use this by accident. The drag path movement. I love the drag path movement.
Oh yeah, it makes all the big ones easier.
Oh,
It took me a while to get used to it, but I think it's pretty handy.
yeah. I don't think. Unfortunately, I wish these were not fixed right here.
The shift movement too is also great. The formation
Yeah, shift
movement.
and alt.
And that came in a
alt.
couple games ago, but I love using that.
And then the alt one is the column, right? Like road
Yeah.
column movement, really, which is great too. That works obviously very well. Oh, yeah. The other thing about column of march, I really loved that you could shift that at the divisional level, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
it's
brilliant.
much easier to. I hate being fidgety and doing stuff where you can put everybody in. Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, I can tell Rich is a hotkey person because every time I show him or discuss anything, he's like, "Oh, you mean shift what?" I was like, "I have no idea what."
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a clicker. I'm a clicker.
There's a learning curve.
Well, I'm learning the ways of Rich because There's Shift F, definitely, absolutely. N I've been using a lot now, much more efficiently. So, for example, just for if anybody not used to the game, when you start in move mode, and then you have target mode, right? So if you're in move mode and you keep hitting N, you'll basically get, oh, we've got reinforcements coming. We'll get everybody. As a matter of fact, we could do the A alt real quick. Let me see this. You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna do the drag movement. Watch this, y'all. Let's hopefully this works. Okay. Well, it did. It didn't do it as cool as I thought it was going to.
So what you need to do is you actually select the hex, but you don't select all the units.
Okay, hold on.
Try that.
No, that didn't do it. I think you still have to select them. Yeah, that did it. All right, that does that. So there's shift. The shift.
Yeah, that was a stack move, because what you should do is I think it's with an alt key on it too. So you need to look that one up. But I think you select the hex, not the units, and then hit alt and down the road, and it'll keep them on the road. Right.
I don't think this is gonna work, but
well, right, you're probably out of movement points at this point.
Yeah. All right. So, needless to say, that's a good. Needless to say, although I can't demonstrate it because I'm an idiot, it's a good move. Good addition to the game. I'm just trying to pick up anything else of specific. Oh yeah, I definitely think the night shading and the 3D slopes are wonderful. Just making sure I'm not missing anything from a new. That's a significant amount of difference.
There's a ton of improvements, I think, as far as the looks and the way it plays, and obviously you don't maybe necessarily see it right up front, but the amount of effort that's gone into the AI, even from 5 years ago has been tremendous, and it's noticeable to me. And every now and then the AI will do something sneaky, and I'm like, what? And I'm like, I love it. It's great. So it still plays at like a newbie level, but it can be a little on the conservative side. But
sure,
it does present a fun game, right? So it's not just.
Oh yeah, I'm challenged.
It's not a static opponent, like the way.
Right. Yeah, I would suggest that people play the getting started, maybe play 1 or 2 scenarios, then read the getting started, read the designer notes, which are very well done, by the way. And I also want to thank you for not only the book suggestions. I think there's book suggestions in the designer notes, but also your campaigns had a few suggestions too. For example, the Wilderness War 77. There were some suggestions in there. I did not have the Musket and Tomahawk series, so I went and got it, and it's great. It's wonderful. Fantastic. It is wonderful. That is fantastic. I didn't. I already had the Atkinson one, the newer Atkinson ones. Those are absolutely brilliant. And the other one I've been rereading is the Bunker Hill one.
Fire and Sword.
It was maybe just maybe 2005s, 2010s. It's Bunker Hill. It's the one that, and then the second one is about Benedict Arnold primarily, and then the third one is about the Hurricane's Eye. Oh boy, I'll remember it later. Can't remember. The first one's called Bunker Hill. The second one's called Something Promised Leader or something like that, and then the third one is Hurricane's Eye. Those are outstanding. I'll send you later, and I'll do it as a reply to the video. But those are good. I was rereading that for this because the first book covers Bunker Hill extremely well, and interesting. I was just looking at a map just to kind of, if you really want to see the contrast of then and now, look at the area of Cambridge. Look at Charlestown. Look at Charlestown now, and then look at it here. And I love, there was one map I found that says the battle nefariously called as bunkers because it was really Breed's Hill or something like that. There's like a British map, a contemporary map that says something to that effect. I thought it was funny.
Oh yeah, I pulled all those up. So one thing you can, if you want to go into a complete time sink, you can go to the Library of Congress and just start plugging in battle names, and a lot of those historic maps will come up, and
Yeah.
at high resolution, and you can find some really amazing things in there. Or if you put in the name of a map maker, whether that, if you put in if you put in Simcoe or whoever, they'll come up, and they are high resolution. You can fully zoom in on them. You can download them if you have a need. They're great.
Actually, have not looked at Monmouth. Let's take a look at Monmouth real quick. There are still battles in this game that I have not. And I've looked at a lot of this game, and there's still some that I just haven't even looked at yet. I'm just taking a look at Monmouth. Okay, this is an interesting one. This is a medium.
Yeah, it's a pretty big one.
Long range, yeah.
And that's why there's so many breakdowns of the scenario, because it was definitely a hard one to model. You've got, it's very atypical, right? That the British are trying to get away, but maybe lure the Americans into it. The Americans are maybe overextended, and you've got the whole snafu with Lee in the morning, and so that one was a bit of a challenge. And so yes, there's the complete one in there, but there's also breaking it down, looking at the morning action, looking at the meat of the battle, as it were. And then I did a couple at company level, just because some people really love these huge games. And so if you look at the company level, I mean, there's a lot of units there, and it's not the full battle. It's just I think I did the Point of Woods. There's one. I did the morning engagement at company level, and Point of Woods. That's a pretty famous aspect of things.
So there's the historical one.
Call up the company level. Which one is that? I can't.
It was the second one. It was B.
Oh yeah.
Here,
it's target rich.
Oh wow.
Right.
Target rich environment. Yeah.
So there's a lot for people.
I'm going to do that one. I like that one.
Some people are really into this type of thing.
These are the 10 mil. These are the 10 mils people. That's what I call them.
Yeah.
Right? The 15 mils or the 10 mils.
So this is where if you use the shift movement, it'll move them. It'll move the entire battalion together.
Speaking of showing the battalion, yeah, I love the highlight org. So let's see if we can do that. So we have the org, and then let's just get them up a little bit. Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was shift.
That's super useful.
Let me see. I'm just going to do this just to kind of mess it up. It's fine. Let me try to do an alt here, which should. I'm assuming it'll first go here, and then everybody will come over here and do this.
Well, they're not.
Oh, they're fixed. Shoot, they're fixed. Yeah, that's another thing. Oh, there's definitely. I will say. Okay, here's another wish list item. There are certain battles I wish that we could just say remove fixed list. There isn't a setting for that, right? There's no cheat for that, right?
No, but there is a scenario editor. You just go in there.
Yeah, okay.
And
Yeah. All right. So yeah. Oh, this is a nice one. I think I'm gonna have to do this one. I didn't realize you had a nice meaty one like this. Almost skirmish level. Yeah. So what was the most difficult aspect of working on this title?
Yeah. Trying to stay focused and narrow it down. I mean, it's like I mean, my list was huge, and then you got to look at it and like, well, what makes it a good game or a good battle, right? I mean, what makes it a good war game? Because there are a lot of things. I mean, Monmouth was tough. Was a tough one because the historical battle is not necessarily the most likely battle, and so you have to balance that with what gives the players interesting choices to make. You don't just want to line them up and just push forward. I mean, maybe you do, but for me, I always like having minor crises.
Some choices.
When the game first started out, or when Rich first approached me on this, it was just going to be a straight
port.
redo of the
Yeah.
1776. It was
Right.
going to be company level, and it was all going to be very straightforward. And then a few months into that, WS decided, hey, this old EAW engine, its legacy, a lot of the things in there are broken, and we need to go to the Musket and Pike engine
Uh-huh.
and make it work there. And so at that point, it was like, well, you're not going to do 40. You're not going to do 40-meter hexes. You're going to go to 100-meter. And so I think they realized when I explained to them, well, that means you're going to have a lot of battles with 5 counters aside, and that's not going to be very. It's going to be a hard sell.
Mm-hmm.
And so doing this whole 40-meter thing was kind of a big deal.
So the first time
And
that was lightly introduced in another one, right? Right?
right, and I think that was Rich White on one. I can't remember
Yeah.
which title he did that in. That's he's always been a bit of tinkerer like that, but they actually
I think it might have
shifted
been
some things around
Austrian.
engine wise. So he was just kind of, he shoehorned it in. It worked, and I think he's probably reworked those now that it's official.
You know what? It was Culloden. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah, okay, which makes sense, of course, right?
yeah,
That's a great title, by the way, the Austrian Secession.
yeah.
But this is my favorite.
Yeah,
This is,
good.
because
Those
I
are
was
New
waiting
Yorkers.
for this one. Yes, exactly. Where are you from originally, if you don't mind me asking?
California, Sonoma.
Okay, all
So,
right, all
but
right.
my
So no,
my sister my sister lives out in New York. She lives up in the Hudson Valley. So
that's where, yeah, that's where I was
uh,
at. I was in Ulster County.
yeah, so she lives
Um,
across from West Point.
yeah, yeah, probably what,
So
or near almost Poughkeepsie area. Well, that's a
yeah,
little bit
yeah.
further down. Yeah,
So
Jesus Christ.
Cold Spring, New York.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So hopefully,
Um.
we've talked about maybe adding in Fort Montgomery and Clinton. So we'll see how that goes.
Mm. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, you are already thinking of an expansion, or
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like I spent so much time in the past couple of years working on this. I kind of like, well, I kind of like to draw that map. So
yeah. So I love that about almost all your series, right? That you do an upgrade package, usually one, right? Generally, is that
I think it's up to the designer, right, and
yeah,
what they want to do, and
right?
I mean, what they've got time for. I mean, it's a lot of work, right? I mean,
Uh-huh.
there's a ton of hours spent on these things, but it's like, I mean, for me it's fun. I like drawing maps,
Mm.
or these digital maps, I should say, or converting things to war games.
What was
So especially
the
places that I've been and that I know, and it's
yeah,
always
that was going to be one of my questions. Just was there ever a moment where you just felt like you was there ever a moment that you felt like you had to visit the battlefield in order to get a better perspective by any chance?
well, ironically, so a lot of that stuff I'd visited. A lot of these places I'd visited before
Right.
before I started actually working on the game. So like I had visited Washington Heights, Fort Washington, and that was and I actually did a user version of that of
Mm-hmm.
Fort Washington, and so I think for me, it was visiting those places are kind of inspiring, right? Because you look at that and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh,
Yeah.
well, that's funny. I think in that map, it just kind of shows it as plain ground, but if you look at that, it was pretty rough. Or
Yeah, I think for me, New Jersey has always been a surprise, right? Just as far as how undulating and varied, like almost every U.S. state.
right,
When you get outside, when you get into the country of each state, and trust me, every state has country.
yeah,
Um, they have country miles. This continent of ours, this rebellious continent of ours, was horrible terrain in their eyes, right?
yeah,
I remember reading, like, I think it was Simca, others like Simca, their accounts of it was just horrible. It was not it was just not it's not typical of a European
yeah. And I
battlefield. Right?
did try to kind of give you that feel. Like if you look at, and just have you seen Matson's?
No, let me open that.
So Matson's pretty good. That was, there's a speaking of massive maps, the master map for Germantown runs from Germantown all the way up to Valley Forge,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of wilderness in there, and there's the clearings, and
my dad used to work in Monk's Corner in South Carolina. That's funny.
Matson's going to be
Okay.
a Pirates it's in 77.
Okay, so it'll be around here.
It's late December. I mean late 77.
All right, so it'll be after
After
Germantown, right?
Germantown.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. There we go. Right before
It's cool
Valley.
too, also because it should be it's either snow or frozen. I can't remember.
Oh, there you go. Ooh, nice. I'm gonna have to do this one.
Or the arid.
Of
So
course, I tell myself that every time I look at anything. Oh, I need to play that. Oh, I need to play. But oh wow, this is a pretty far maneuvering engagement here.
yeah, it's a lot. So the British are out foraging,
Okay,
and the challenge is to get all the way up there. But
let's see what the strengths are. Yeah, yeah, that's for me. This is the sweet spot. This is the AWI sweet spot, right? About 4,000 troops, maybe.
yeah, and we're comparing that to some of the other titles, right? I mean,
Yeah. Oh,
this is just
absolutely.
a small. This would be a small division out of a massive wing, right? So
Right. Right.
that was one of the challenges I think of bringing the American Revolutionary War to to the game. Is that we're just dealing with much smaller numbers. Even the biggest battles are 20,000 aside, which is
But I think you gain a new appreciation of the fact that that's not only a small number. That's a small number of a small army of a small
yeah,
army group. Really, that had to cover a tremendous amount of terrain. Every time I read about the Red War, I'm just like, how the hell did we pull this off? Obviously, the immediate reply is Francais, right?
right.
But it's just it's just a great story. It's a great story. Even I know it's history, but it's just an
Oh yeah,
incredible story.
no, there's all sorts of surprises and underdogs and
Oh yeah, and
the villains
and
and all the good stuff.
I can't remember which account it was, but even the Hessians had a pretty deep respect for the Continentals once they got back.
Yeah,
Um,
Ewald writes a lot about that, and being out and in the woods like that, and
and
they're not
yeah,
used
it
to
was
that space.
is interesting. Kind of like wilderness life to city life even then had a there was a pretty significant contrast, right? Like no matter if someone lived in the wilderness, let's say, or the Mohawk Valley, etc. um they were fiercely independent even if they were on paper loyal, right?
Right.
So everybody just wanted to be left alone, really, ultimately, right? It is the grand irony, if I recall, is again the Boston Tea Party and such prior. That tea was going for 1/3 the original price. I don't know if you've heard that, right? Like that was like bulk surplus tea that they just
Right.
wanted to make a little tax on, and look what it did.
And they're trying, exactly, just trying to prove a point. So,
Oh yeah, there's so many. It's interesting. I mean, as an American, you're like, hey, I want to be loyal, or hey, who rah rah. But there was a lot of agendas. There were a lot of agendas. And that's what I love about it. We could even see that, and we'll get too political here, but it was very interesting to see the king here in the U.S. recently, right? And talking about democracy and such. I'm not gonna get too into it, but that was kind of neat.
yeah,
I don't know. It was just
it was an interesting visit.
yes, yeah. We'll leave it at that. But all right, well, we'll leave it there unless you wanted to talk about anything else.
No,
But
so it was fun. Thanks for having me. It was good. It was a good overview to see some stuff and see what you're
and
appreciating. And
every time I do this, I learn something new. Learn what to do or what not to do, and I always convince myself to play several other scenarios soon after. Yeah, but an incredible title, huge offering of scenarios. I always feel like across the board. I don't know if you have like a consistency mandate or what, but not only the sheer number, but the actual thought behind the what ifs. Right? They're not just like goofy what ifs. They're actually viable what ifs, right? And
yeah, and
then
I didn't do too many. There were a couple like I mean, how could I not type of thing. And
right, exactly.
like you're reading an account and you're like, oh well, why wouldn't I do that? But I try to keep the what ups to a minimum because hopefully players are kind of people who have the game are inspired to maybe tinker with and create their own, right?
Right,
Like,
and I think that
hey, like you said, hey, unfix this wing, or someone posted something somewhere about they didn't like the fact that one of the Saratoga battles had had the one of the wings of the American Army fixed. I'm like, well, they didn't really get into the action, so I didn't want you to be able to just take everything
well,
and go.
yeah, that's what I took it as. When I played any of those, I was like, you know what, this was there trying to make you experience it. That's the one thing. It's an experience. And I thought y'all put a lot of detail and thought into that. So the first time I play it, I'll play it, exactly as is, right? But I think there's certain ones I wouldn't mind messing around with.
Well, like I said, I'm hoping people do, and
Yeah.
there's so much map space out there that is untouched,
Right.
that you
Right.
really can do a lot. And
I think
when I first built those maps, I saw some of these maps like the Charleston at battalion level. I was like, well, maybe I can do the whole siege, and we can do some of this moving up, and
well, right, but leave that to
the
people.
challenges. I needed to focus, right, and
Right,
not get
right.
into too many what ifs.
So the one thing I will call out to everybody is that don't forget that there is a campaign in here too. There are 4 campaigns, right? I think there are 2 variants of Saratoga. There's a Saratoga Light and a full. There's then
There's a Brandywine and a Philadelphia,
yeah, and both of those.
and there. I mean, so the Brandywine is just the Brandywine battle, and so that's great. So like if you want to go into it playing things blind,
Mm-hmm.
and not know exactly where the opposing forces are or what the
Mm-hmm.
opposing forces' plans are,
Mm-hmm.
that's how you go. Or maybe you want to, so I think that for the Americans, I gave the choice. Well, you're gonna do the spread defense and protect the fords all the way up, or
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna stay,
And I love
like,
that system.
like Washington, and
I
then as the British, well, you can go historic and make the big swing, or do you just want to go up the middle because it's just the Americans, right? So you got those
and
choices, and so it allow so if you want to just play and not knowing what's what,
right
there you go.
now
But then
you've
you've got the longer campaigns, and same with Saratoga. The Saratoga Light, you pretty much get the 2 historic battles,
right.
and then on the and then there's a potential for a third. But on the second battle on Bemis, you have options, right? And so
Right.
the first one just plays as it plays, and then you get you get some options.
Unless you play miserably and fail, and then it kicks you out, right? Which is what I did. So don't do that. Don't do that. But you've inspired me to potentially take some. I'm gonna go look at the maps again, like especially around Charleston. I might have to do some sort of campaign around that, right? I like maneuvering, right? I like maneuvering warfare.
You've got that in spades when it comes like Charleston and the Savannah. I mean, we went crazy, and I had one of the squad battles guys help me out on Savannah because there was a lot of work to do. So
all right, I might have to research it a little bit more, just kind of.
Yeah, and
what were some of the what ifs, a little bit more of the widespread what ifs, and then have some people play by mail.
And Yorktown, unfortunately, I think that's kind of I mean, it's like you have to have Yorktown. So
yeah,
we really put in the storm of the 2 redoubts. I've got another one in my back pocket that I'm thinking about doing. They made a sortie, but the thing with the siege in this game is like it's just you don't really get the chance to you're not digging trenches and you're doing all this 18th century siege work, and it all sounds fun, but it's not really.
It doesn't translate well.
Yeah.
Right.
So
at
this point, I didn't really. I have some ideas, but we'll see.
Yeah, so don't miss out on the sub map editor. Don't miss out on the campaign editor as well.
There's an editor for the campaigns as well, and but do look at this. Do look at the sub map editor and play around with that, and you can. There's plenty of acreage to make battles in.
And I think that the overall order and some of those campaigns, they do carry over the order of battle, correct? I think even lost.
So all 4. Well, There's one.
The
It's just
large
it's
ones,
a single battle, but the
right?
ones that are multi-battle, yes, that's also part of the challenges because I had to use one OOB for the entire thing, or I opted to do that. So losses on in the first battle carry over to the second, and if there's a third, it'll carry over to the third.
Yeah.
And there are ways you can do it with separate OOBs, and it's pretty involved. So I didn't want to get into that. So we did that, and part of the problem too with the American Revolutionary War, there were so many ad hoc formations. I mean, Washington is throwing, suffers massively on at Long Island, and so everything is reshuffled by the time you get into
Right.
Manhattan, and
Right.
you've got the British are shuffling brigades. It seems like every couple of weeks, so that presents a challenge that I didn't want to have to spend so
Yeah,
much.
so again, I'll say just thank you for including everything. And like when a campaign was touched upon, you gave everything, you gave it all, right? And I think it gave me a much more, a spatial awareness of these campaigns, right? Even Philadelphia, I didn't, you read about it a lot, but just seeing it play out.
Yeah, and going back and back and forth over the river, and
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
it's just I don't think you get an appreciate this isn't as much an entertaining war game as it is an educational one. Absolutely.
well, hopefully it's
Um,
entertaining.
yes. Oh, it's entertaining as well when you win, which I think. So yeah, this sore loser alert. But but yeah, absolutely. I think this, and I'll say the same with the Crusades 1 and 2 and the Renaissance one. That those were very educational too. Just again,
Oh yeah.
I think it's because you give you when y'all provide something, you provide the whole, and
Well,
it
I think like I mean, Rich was into the Crusades for years, and he finally
and
got
just
that.
kind
He
of.
finally got that out.
Oh yeah, that's. I mean, just similarly though, with this, you have everything. You have the whole kit and caboodle,
Yeah, I
and
thoroughly
I
enjoyed.
think
When I finished ARW and it was kind of like I couldn't touch anything because I wanted to make sure it got mastered the way it was,
right.
and I didn't want to like send something that didn't get in there. So I spent the past couple of weeks playing a heck of a lot of Crusades. So
Yeah, you got to get the musket and pike out of your system a little
yeah,
bit.
exactly.
Yeah, you got to kind of reset a little bit. But the whole thing, it's just amazing. Absolutely, my favorite war game producer and developers. Just
Well,
the fact, like
it's
literally.
it's a good team, and they really are good guys. So
Yeah, I think it just it attracted similar mindsets, and I think y'all kept just a high quality. Your quality assurance is just incredible. Just I think
I
y'all
know they
kept
try.
really.
Rich really keeps
Yeah.
honest. So.
Right, right. Yeah, it keeps everybody. You can just tell. You can tell there's pride in it, and there's not that doesn't go around right. And I think some of it probably has the fact that you're sticking with an engine but improving it. So instead of just absolutely ripping it apart or trying, oops, uh,
That's okay.
you good?
No.
All right, we'll end there. That's our signal, man. But yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Mike, for talking, and
Yeah, Peter,
it
I
was great.
appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, good talk. Thank you.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah. So when will this be posted? It'll be on YouTube.
give me one